What we hope to do with this incredible facility is share the technology that is produced behind those walls at Stennis that helps us in our everyday lives, to share that with the young people and with our visitors, the young people who are students all over this area, but also to our visitors who will come in here in great numbers. I mentioned about 13.5 million people a year will be going down Interstate 10. This will be their introduction to Mississippi as they're coming into Mississippi from Louisiana from the west. It'll also be their introduction to Louisiana as they're traveling from the east going through Mississippi to get to Louisiana. This will be a hallmark for those folks. And what we have here is sort of a branch of the Smithsonian Institution. And you'll see that as you tour the facilities. This is the beginning of many, many great things that will happen in Infinity. Day by day, month by month, year by year, additional artifacts will be brought into this facility. Additional venues will be brought into this facility for the world to see. So many of you in this room will come back hundreds of times to see what's new at Infinity as we continue to branch out day by day. You'll see some of those artifacts when you go upstairs. The things like the actual spacesuit that Fred Hayes wore on Apollo 13, or going inside a capsule. Any of you who are space buffs upstairs, you'll see the actual Goddard rocket that first launched man into space in 1926. You'll see Warner Van Braun's office upstairs. Those are the kinds of things that you see at the Smithsonian, but you don't have to leave Louisiana, Mississippi to see those anymore. You can come inside Infinity, and we'll be adding to those things day by day. This is truly a gateway, and it comes because of the vision of several people. It begins with 3 local people. Roy Estes, who came from Tylertown, who was the director of Stennis, comes from Myron Webb, a young lady who grew up in Long Beach, Mississippi, who was working for Roy Estes at the time. And they conceived the idea of moving Stennis out to the interstate so the world could enjoy it. They went to Leo Seal Jr. at Hancock Bank and asked Leo if he would chair a project to get this facility built. He incorporated a group of volunteers, and they went to work starting actually 12 years ago to assemble the money and the wherewithal to make this happen. We salute those pioneers. One of the early pioneers I mentioned a while ago was Tommy Monroe, who served on the original board. We've lost Leo, and we've lost Roy, and we've lost Tommy, but I can tell you they're here in spirit, and they're here in your hearts for what they did to make this dream a reality.
Today's ribbon cuttings will open up the doors to learning, to exploration, to inspiration, and to discovery. And today's ribbon cutting will be the dreams fulfilled of Mr. Estes, Mr. Seal, and Mr. Monroe. And I know I got introduced in one of my former jobs from Mr. Estes to a man named Mr. Seal, who I knew was a stalwart in the community. I hadn't heard his accent too much, and I'm going to try to portray it a little bit. But Mr. Estes introduced me to Mr. Seal, and Mr. Seal was told that I was to be the person, along with a few other NASA folks, to go purchase the land, the 199 acres that's now where Infinity sits. And if the Seal family could just give me a little bit of a leeway here, is never forget when he looked at me in 2002 and said, "Now look at here, young fella. What we need to do is sit you on the road and go purchase that land, and don't pay a penny more than it's worth." Well, I think it took a little bit longer than Mr. Seal wanted it to take, and I quickly found out how hard negotiations were and what business case meant. And now, later on, to come back to tell him that we proudly purchased that, and I also know now why he was such a successful banker, and I'm just an engineer at this point. So in closing, I wanted to say thank you for all your continued support. Stennis Space Center has a promising future, and Infinity will tell a story of the important work we carry out on behalf of the United States to countless visitors who will stop by and see what we're all about. Whether Infinity is along the journey of visitors en route or this is their destination, I'm confident that the inspiration will be sparked in the minds of future generations. Buzz Lightyear said to Infinity Beyond, "We are here at Infinity. and are being inspired from the beyond by Mr. Seal, Mr. Estes, Mr. Monroe, among others. Let us remember always what their vision was and use it as a motivation to inspire generations to come. Thank you very much.
It's a great day for NASA as we celebrate this brand new state-of-the-art facility. I had the opportunity to walk around a bit, and I'm damn impressed. This is great, and I will definitely be back. It joins the ranks of many other NASA visitor centers and science centers around the country that are helping kids to explore our planet, our universe, from right where they live today. And it's a fresh and dynamic gift to this community. Not only will it bring visitors from local areas, such as Mississippi and Louisiana, but people will come from everywhere. For those who have an interest in science, in space, and in exploration. And from NASA's earliest days up to the space launch system that we are building today, you couldn't have a space program without the essential work of Stennis. I'm sure many of you may have known the quote that's been attributed to Dr. Wernher von Braun, who affirmed the importance of Stennis test facilities when he said, "I don't know yet what method we will use to get to the moon, but I do know that we'll have to go through Mississippi to get there." We sometimes tend to think of the future in terms of technologies, but in reality, it is the young minds with a passion for exploration that are going to create that future. Infinity has that goal. It has that goal of creating pivotal moments for visitors where they will be so intrigued with what they've seen, it'll become a lifelong passion to learn more. At NASA, we are in the future business. And that means not only creating the missions of tomorrow, it means creating the environment where people are inspired and engaged by that future. And Infinity will be at the forefront of all that work. What we do here, what we do at NASA, has a huge ripple effect. Our space missions may be spectacular, but the end result is much more than those amazing discoveries. It's the inspiration the children at home feel when they see those pictures from Mars, or maybe decide they want to pursue a career where they can work on projects just like those Mars projects, or when they see an astronaut walking in space or on the moon, and make a resolution to apply for the astronaut class, as 6,300 people did just a few months ago. At NASA, we intend to keep that inspiration high. The vistas before us, they are opening wide, and we're delighted that Infinity will be there to help its many visitors make sense of the complex and wonderful world ahead as we pursue our future missions at NASA. The young people of today will be tomorrow's innovators and discoverers. They're going to be the people that reach an astronaut or go to the moon or step foot on Mars for the first time. They're going to be the people that develop the next generation of air transportation systems. And you know what? They're going to be rewriting our textbooks yet again. And all that we have done and all that we will do in the future, it'll be well documented here at Infinity, and Infinity will be part of that future. So in conclusion, I'd just like to say we at NASA are very excited to have Infinity as a resource, both for sharing our work and the work of the local community here, and we really look forward to inspiring all those who come to see it. Thank you, and congratulations again.
It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Stennis Space Center is truly one of the great treasures in Mississippi and Mississippi's 4th Congressional District. And today we celebrate another addition to the facility, the Infinity Center. Stennis is a unique national asset right here in our backyard. More than 3,000 scientists, technicians, and engineers come to work here every day to lend their talents to this high-tech community. The work that partners like NASA, the Department of Defense, Lockheed Martin, Pratt & Whitney, Rolls-Royce, and many others do contributes to our status as a world leader in technology. This work is even more valuable when you consider the future of our country's space program, emerging global technological competition, and even the fact that a rogue country like North Korea has the capability of reaching a rocket capable of reaching the United States. And when we learn that only 15% of youth are choosing technical careers compared to 50% in China, it gives us reason to pause. Today, when I look at this impressive facility, I see the future, where the path to space continues to go through Mississippi, where public-private partnerships continue to produce cutting-edge technology through vital research and development, and where our children find inspiration to become the next generation of scientists, technicians, engineers, and mathematicians. As chairman of the Space and Aeronautics Subcommittee, I remain committed to America's space legacy that captivated the imaginations of generations of youth in all of the world with our American exceptionalism. Truly, the students here today are the future. I hope that each of them have an opportunity to talk to some of the astronauts we have here with us today. Students, they have some very cool stories to tell you. And I'm sure they'll tell you it takes a lot of studying and hard work to get to where they are, but it's worth it. Choosing a career path in the sciences will open so many doors and incredible opportunities to you. Don't let those opportunities pass you by. My hope is that many of you students will leave here today inspired by some of the exciting missions you learn about, and that what you will see will help you decide to one day become an engineer or an astronaut, oceanographer, chemist, and so many other fields to choose from. My hope is also that you'll come back to Stennis Space Center or some other high-tech employer in the state of Mississippi. I also want to thank the teachers that are here today for critical work they do in shaping young minds and pushing students to success. Your investment in these kids so often is what makes the difference. So many times, educators like you are the ones who flip that switch on to the love of science or math. Stennis has a long-standing tradition of working with educators to promote science education, and I'm proud to report they're going to be continuing that legacy with the Infinity Educator Resource Center that offers classroom materials and workshops to give you the tools you need to engage students in science up close and personal. This is our future, and I'm proud to celebrate it with South Mississippi. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's wonderful to be here. This day is about so many aspects. It's about vision, it's about determination and resolve, it's about recovery, it's about inspiration, it's about the future, it's about education, it's about history. And George, thank you for that history lesson. The War of 1812 may have been over with before the Battle of New Orleans was fought, but it was a pivotal moment in the history of this part of the world, as George pointed out. This is a day about STEM education, science, technology, engineering, math. And I want to tell you a story about education and about bipartisanship. It was the spring of 2001, and my Democratic colleague, Bud Kramer from Alabama, called me and said, "Roger, I have some slots for the space camp in Huntsville, Alabama, and for some reason, it's spring holidays in Alabama. Would you like to send a group of 5th graders to the space camp?" And I said, yes, I think I would. And so we tried to pick small schools, rural schools, because we could pick more of them. And we sent a bunch of kids over to space camp in the spring of 2001. A young man who went to that camp thanked me later on. His name was Trey. And he said, "Congressman Wicker, I want to work in the space program after going to space camp." I saw that young man just the other day, and I said, "Trey, how you doing? What's going on in your life?" And he said, "Senator, I'm graduating from college this spring with a degree in space technology and in physics." Now, a spark hit that young man at space camp. and he is going to work in the space program with a double degree from one of our major universities. Who knows what young person here today might get a spark, or what young person coming through here from any part of the United States might see the Infinity Center and decide to embark on a program that's going to lead that person to a career in space. And finally, this platform today speaks to you about congressional support. You know, there are 82 counties in the state of Mississippi. Thad, Stephen, and I could be in any of those today. Every spot of ground in the United States has only 3 members of Congress, 2 senators and 1 representative. We're all here at Infinity today because we're making the strong statement in support of Infinity, in support of Stennis Space Center, and in support of NASA. We believe that this program is too important to let it be on the slide. The best days of Stennis Space Center are in the future. The best days of NASA are yet to come, and we're here to make that statement today. Thank you.
I'm really pleased to be invited to share this occasion with all of you and to explore the various ways in which the place can be used, and the people here, the talent and the experience that is assembled here to continue supporting space exploration and the goal of reaching beyond low Earth orbit. I'm glad that our colleagues in the Senate from Mississippi support this dream and this imagination that's required to build on the past accomplishments that we also celebrate today. They reflect credit on our state as they, our delegation members, and our staff members who work so capably in Washington. Phil Bryant, our governor, shares the dream, and his energy and enthusiasm to lead our state forward and to shape the content of bills through the legislature to continue to support Stennis and our Space Center here. I also want to mention the Center Director, Patrick Sherman. He's a strong leader. He's determined. Stennis has reached one impressive milestone after another under his leadership. We need to recognize Myron Webb for her personal commitment to not only this project today, but in addition to her day job at Stennis, she has been an effective and impressive force that has held this effort together. And finally, it's a pleasure and a feeling of respect that we join today to honor the late Roy Estes. This Infinity Science Center was his vision and dream, and one that will carry on a legacy of effective and unassuming capacity to inspire passion for science, education, and space exploration. It's gratifying to see such an impressive and productive facility developed after 11 years as an innovative idea of Leo Seal and Roy Estes. I remember their visit to my office, it was in 2001, when they expressed to me personally their vision for creating a special gateway to our state on Interstate 10, where we just dedicated and unveiled a monument that reminds us that visitors can go behind the gates, enter the Stennis Space Center, and enjoy the information, the exhibit, the work of Fred Hayes reflected in exhibits here, and the generous donors who have made this day a reality.
I'm so proud of the Mississippi legislature. As Myron came, and Patrick, as Myron would come to the Capitol, as you know, and talk about bond proceeds and investment in Infinity, there was no way to say no. It just could not happen. The vision that she had and others that led Stennis I remember as a young boy, my dad in 1965 deciding that we were going to move to Picayune, Mississippi, and he was going to go to work on the missile base. That's what we knew it to be, the missile base. How exciting it was in those days. We were all just one generation from the farm, and here we were now in South Mississippi in a place called Hancock County, about to make missiles and move men into space. You see, I remembered as a young boy John Kennedy's admonition that we will take a man to the moon by the end of this decade and return him safely to Earth. And in 1969, Neil Armstrong did just that. He took that one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. And he got there because we are here, because Stennis was here. Fred Hayes, on that heroic mission of Apollo 13, knew that it began in Hancock County, that we were beginning to be the future of testing those space shuttle engines that will go on to Mars someday. From Hancock County to Mars. Isn't that the trail of Mississippi? From where we began to infinity. That's exactly where we're headed. And the economic development opportunities that are here within this infinity complex in Stennis. I can only imagine in 1960, sitting in that audience listening to President Kennedy was a senator from Mississippi. And as he heard about that, John C. Stennis from DeKalb, Mississippi said, there are going to be jobs involved in that. There's going to be economic development opportunity for Mississippi, and I'm not about to miss it. I would imagine he made his way through the crowd somehow to President Kennedy and said, who's going to run this? Because I need to talk to him. I want him to come to Mississippi. I'm sure they said, make sure that Senator Stennis finds out about this. He's got some idea about this place called Hancock County. And here we are in infinity. We've come a long way, but we've just begun. You see, I have the opportunity to visit throughout Mississippi as your governor, and as a child born in Moorhead, Mississippi, I think I've seen so much of this great state, from Vicksburg to the historic military and Civil War museums to the old Capitol to Natchez. But this is the future.
You see here, I think, a very incredible facility. It's got a lot of artifacts as you wander around and look that really represent the 50 great years of NASA. And some things that even give you a picture of what's coming down the road, a little bit about the future. This collection of artifacts, I'll say it came about because of a lot of dedicated workers from Stennis, a lot of volunteers, but also support from the NASA family. Some of these exhibits came from Johnson Space Center. Marshall Space Flight Center has the 4,000 square foot When Nations Dare exhibit that you'll find just as you come in the entry. And from Kennedy Space Center, the full-scale laboratory module that's today flying on Space Station above us. I was in a meeting with Senator John Stennis after the last firing here at then Mississippi Test Facility. I had the dubious honor as the astronaut to come and speak to the workers who were getting their pink slips in a couple of weeks and tell them what a great job they had done. But one of the things John Stennis said that stuck with me, he called the Mississippi Test Facility a national asset, and how right he was. This Infinity will serve as a showcase to tell people about some of the incredible work that goes on out there. Myron Webb invites me, excuse me, often to go with her on tours with people, show them around Stennis. And I have to tell you, even though I've gone out there many, many times, it seems like every time there's something I see that I hadn't seen before, some activity that's going on. It's incredible. Today you're sitting in the Earth Gallery. It obviously, in the near term, we can use it, and we'll continue to use it for nighttime events. It can be used for conferences, for banquets, even receptions. But ultimately, in the future, you will see an array of very high state-of-the-art exhibits that were designed by a designer at ESI in New York, where children on field trips will come and take part in missions. There's 6 missions they can take part in. These were devised actually with volunteer workshops from several thousand engineers and scientists out at Stennis who got sort of the concepts like is there water on Mars, save the wetlands, etc. And then NASA, through their outreach training with science teachers, had them look at this, and they modified it to fit on curricula. So when the children come, they'll go, and a teacher obviously will help them pick the missions and orient it time-wise relative to the classroom work they've been involved with. So when they take the mission, they will be, in a more fun way maybe, learning what they've already learned or as a capstone event for their classroom work. We hope this will actually help to increase scoring for students. These hands-on things, though, that will be here, interactive kiosks, will be, of course, educational for both young and old. To provide a look here of what's, as I said, what's going on at Stennis, but more than that, what will be going on. All museums are dynamic. They change with time, and this one is no exception. There'll be new science, there'll be new adventures that NASA will have. I'm really most excited about what's already been mentioned several times, the potential benefit to children. I got a call from Mr. Leo Seal to join the board, as I said, a little over 6 years ago, and I hesitated. I had just finished 6 years on the Astronaut Memorial Foundation board and was involved there with the development and outfitting of the Center for Space Education at Kennedy Space Center, which again serves a lot of young children in Florida area. But I was trying to catch up on my fishing, but I looked at the material that Leo had sent, and I just, without hesitation, said, you sign me up. For that reason, what I see and the number of children, and really thousands over the years from Louisiana and Mississippi, that, as said before, will hopefully, as we are all shaped as we go through life by mentors of various sorts. Our parents, obviously, our teachers, in our churches, and clearly museums are possibly one of those things that may provide that spark to inspire young people to make the best use of the inherent talent they're all born with, and lead a productive and happy life. Thank you.